Good evening, everybody. It is nighttime, and I want to make something for dessert. So I'm going to make a homemade chocolate cake with a cream cheese chocolate buttercream icing. So, yes, I've used the cake batters before and they're fine, but I wanted to make one from scratch. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 2 cups of flour. You're also going to need 2 cups of sugar. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of oil, a 1/4 cup of melted butter. You're going to need 2 eggs at room temperature, and to get them to room temperature, you can put them in some warm water while you're kind of getting everything together, and that'll get them, closer to the temperature that you need it. You're going to need a cup of buttermilk, or if you don't have buttermilk, what you can do is you can take regular milk and you could put a teaspoon of vinegar in it, and that will give you more of the buttermilk consistency you need. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of cocoa. You're going to need some vanilla, some almond, and some baking soda. For your icing, you're going to need powdered sugar, you're going to need cream cheese, butter, and of course cocoa. So we're going to get started with the dry ingredients, and I'll be right back. Okay, so far in my bowl, I have my 2 cups of flour, all-purpose, 2 cups of sugar, and I went back and I had to make sure because I didn't think that was enough cocoa powder, I was telling y'all, is 8 heaping tablespoons of cocoa in here. And then we're going to put 2 teaspoons of your baking soda, and then we're going to put 1 teaspoon of salt. Now, we're going to just kind of whisk this together. Okay. I love the way cocoa smells. Okay, and then we're going to start adding in our wet ingredients. I'm going to grab my mixer and get that ready. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we've got everything together. So I'm going to put my eggs in, and you're going to just kind of put all this, once you get your dry ingredients, you're just going to put your wet ingredients in here. So that was 2 eggs, a 1/4 a cup of oil, a 1/4 a cup of butter, melted. You're going to have your 1 cup of buttermilk, and as I said, I had regular milk. I added a teaspoon, and that made my buttermilk. Okay, there's my buttermilk. You're going to put a heaping teaspoon or so of vanilla. I love vanilla. And you're going to put about a 1/2 teaspoon or 1/2 cap of almond. Almond is, you don't have to do that, but I like the way almond smells when I bake. And I forgot to say, you need a 1/2 cup of warm water with a splash of coffee. Not a whole lot, but just a splash. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed up, and then I'm going to add in the coffee or the warm water. You can use just plain warm water, but if you just add a splash of coffee, I don't know, that just kind of seems to bring out the cocoa flavor. Not really sure why, but it does. It doesn't taste like coffee, I promise. I'm not big on, the coffee cakes and things like that. The coffee flavored cakes. So this is just going to be just to kind of just kind of kick up the flavor a little bit. Okay, add that in. I'm going to get this mixed up real good, and we're going to get it in our pans. Okay, so once you get it all mixed up, it's going to look like this. You're going to get it separated into your 2 pans. And this is a 2-layer, not a 3-layer, enough for a 3-layer. So we're going to get this poured up. And if you're using your regular oven, now as y'all know, I'm in my tiny kitchen. So I'm having to cook and bake in my little air fry, convection oven thing, whatever you want to call it. So I am learning, and I am hoping that this rises like it's supposed to. But worst case, I can walk over to the other house and put it in the oven and finish it off. But we're going to start out in this, and I'm going to do this at about 270. Again, if you're doing this at home, it would go in your oven at 350 for about 30 minutes, or until the cake pulls away from the pan, or when you stick a toothpick, it comes out clean. So since I'm having to do it on this, I'm gonna put one there, and I got that black pan on the bottom to keep it from cooking too fast or burning on the bottom. And I'm gonna try doing it like that. Fingers crossed it comes out. But I'm gonna put this, when using this thing, I'm doing it on 270, and I'm gonna put it for about 45-50 minutes. I'm gonna check it in about 30 minutes or so. If it's not doing exactly what I need it to, I can take it over to the oven. But again, if you're doing this at home, 350 for about 30 minutes. Okay, so cooking it in here at about 275, 300. It actually has been cooking for about 45 minutes. I took the one out already because it was the one that was on here. I kind of swapped them around because the one on the bottom cooked faster. But in your own oven, it should be 30 at 350 for 30 minutes until you'll see that it bounces back and it's pulled away from the edges. That means it's done. So we're going to get this pulled out. We're going to put it on a cooling rack, and it's going to cool for about 10-15 minutes. And then we're going to put it on a plate, let it finish cooling. And while it's cooling, I'm going to get all the ingredients together to make our icing. Okay, so the cakes are been taken and put on plates. They're cooling now, so we're going to go ahead and get our icing done. You're going to need a block of cream cheese, and you're going to need a stick of softened butter. I kind of let it soften a little bit too much, but it should be fine. You're going to need 3 to 4 cups of powdered sugar. We're going to get these mixed up, and then we're going to start adding in our other ingredients. Okay, so once you get those creamed together like that, you're going to add in 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And as usual, I like to add just a little almond. You don't have to add much, just, about 2 or 3 drops, 3 or 4, whatever. Or that's completely optional. And then you're going to add in your cocoa. Well, no, let's do your powdered sugar first. So we're going to add this in, and we're going to mix it as we go. Get this mixed up. And you're just going to get this kind of mixed. You're not going to like overly mix it. You're just going to kind of get it to start combining. And then we're going to add in our cocoa. So that's kind of just get it mixed up a little bit. Then we're going to add in our cocoa. And you're going to put in 4 tablespoons of cocoa. I like it real chocolatey. Okay. We're going to get this mixed. And I got the milk out because sometimes you need to add just a little bit of milk, or you can if you have heavy cream, you can use that as well. So I'm going to get this all mixed up, and we're going to see if we're going to need a little bit of milk. I'm thinking that I might be okay and not need that milk, but I have it out just in case. Let me get this mixed up a little bit more, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I tasted it, and I like it a little bit more chocolatey than that, so I added another tablespoon. So I'm going to add about a cap of milk just to kind of make sure it stays nice and creamy. Now you can, if you want it to, if you're going to be piping it, of course you're going to want your icing to stay thick enough to where it pipes real well. I'm using this as an icing, so I'm going to be just spreading it over the cake. But, you definitely don't want to over-mix it, and you want to make sure that it's nice and creamy. And if you're piping it, you want it thick enough to be able to pipe. So let me turn this off. As you can see, so got nice peaks going on. All right, I'm going to let my cakes finish cooling, and then we're going to get it iced up, and I will be right back. Okay, well, my phone died, so I have only got a few seconds here to finish up. This is the cake. It's finished. I did the icing. I'm going to try to bite real quick for you guys. Oops. Homemade chocolate cake with chocolate cream cheese icing. Nice and fluffy. The icing is delicious. Y'all have any questions, let me know. If not, enjoy, y'all.